Okay, that started as adorable and then went to I need an adult. I was like, that's nice. Oh, call Neighborhood Watch. Hello and welcome to Talk Spooky to Me, the Ghost Story Guys mail show. I'm Brennan Storr.
I'm Paul Bestel.
And this is our opportunity to hear from you, our listeners. Paul, Damien Bestel, my friend, how you doing?
I'm all right. I had a new experience at the weekend. I had reflexology for the first time.
Oh, how did you like that?
I enjoyed it very much. Though it sent me off because I had to put some earphones on with some ambient music in whilst I was having my feet manipulated.
Oh, okay.
Which I have to say, my knee and my hip and my back have been a lot better since. But as I was drifting off, Brennan, I kept having an image of an owl pop into my head.
Interesting.
And I thought, this is a bit weird. I like owls. We've got one that flies around here every night. I like to pop and see, along with the bats. And I thought, well, this is really peculiar. But the longer I did, because it was like 25 minutes, the more it went on, the more this image of an owl, just owls in general, kept popping into my head. So I thought, this is weird. So I thought, well, I'll try and have a look at this, because obviously we were at this alternative pagan fair, first one in Sheffield, which was great fun. Bumped into a few people from the folklore conference, got talking to the organisers, had a good chat with them, bumped into somebody who knew who I was that haven't already bothered, so that was nice. Some really, really interesting stalls, some strange, wonderful things, like a very frightening doll on a rocking horse that moves once you turn it on, very strange. And so I ended up thinking, right, well, I've got to get it, and this is why I've got this guy.
Oh,
this beautiful
okay.
Quartz owl, because I thought I need to find an owl. It's a sign. I have to get an owl. I don't know why. I have to get an owl. So I've got this beautiful quartz, like blue and white. Look at the colours on that. It's
That's lovely,
isn't it? So yeah, he's. I haven't thought of a name for him yet. I might call him Andre the Owl.
That works.
Andre Agassi. So yeah, it was really good. Lots of great stuff, and it sounds like they've tentatively done enough to bring it back. So next one, hopefully they're going to do a full day event, and I might be speaking at that. So we'll see.
Oh, amazing!
So fingers crossed. But yeah, great stuff, and had lots of talks about folklore and stuff, because a lot of them were from sort of Norfolk, Suffolk, Essex, Cambridgeshire, that kind of way.
Right.
So it was good for them to get out into civilization and see a real city.
Very cool. Well, I of course, I just got back from Victoria. I was there for Nick's birthday, and we did a whole wide range of stuff, so which I won't bother getting into too much here. We actually just did a patron bonus, right? I go into a little more detail, but I will say I just finished telling you about this. We did Dino Lab, which is a dinosaur museum and like fossil reclamation, or like they clean up fossils and assemble skeletons for museums and institutes around the world. And they have one of the most complete T-Rex skeletons in the world there. It was cleaned up and assembled in Victoria, then it went on tour, and now it is back in Victoria. And I got to tell you, Paul, if there was ever any lingering doubt that I'm autistic, the Dino Lab solved it.
Should be part of the spectrum test, I think, dinosaurs.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, they show you like a stegosaurus. You cream your genes and they go, okay, you stamp.
Iguanodons.
Exactly. Yeah, they had... no, it was brilliant. The guy who did the tour, we got along very, very well. And I had to leave because it was supposed to be a 90-minute tour, half museum and then half kind of playing around with showing you how they clean the fossils. But instead, because I booked the adult tour, so there was like plenty of time. And dude, I was asking questions, other people were asking questions. So at the 90-minute mark, we were still in the museum. But anyways, yeah, Dino Lab. If you're anywhere near the West Coast, you want to go look at some sweet dinosaur skeletons. You wouldn't know the place to look at it. It's actually in James Bay in Victoria, but it's a lot of fun.
Brilliant.
And then I had the opposite experience. And this is a PSA. So I'm back here now in London, Ontario. I was on my way to the library yesterday to return a book.
Mm-hmm.
And a busker, you know what a busker is, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Person performing music or shouting. Usually.
Yes. Yeah. So I had someone ask me this
varying talent level.
Exactly. Yeah, I had someone ask me this on Blue Sky, so I wasn't 100% sure if this was like a universal term or not. But yeah, yes. So busker stopped me to ask, have you actually read that book? Like I'm in the fucking habit of carrying around props in 30-degree weather on the off chance I need to impress some sunburned stranger noodling tunelessly on a fucking guitar. Have I actually read this? Get fucked.
I'm a big fan of fucking Tintin, thank you.
Yeah, that's right. And the thing is, like, had he asked me that question, like, hey man, how was the book? I would have talked his ear off, because I love talking to strangers. But his opening gambit was so aggressive. But I tried. I took one of my headphones out, and like I was a woman he was hitting on in the fucking subway. Yeah, exactly.
You what?
And I said to him, I said, I'm just taking it back. He goes, oh yeah, what is it? And so it's kind of a sci-fi murder mystery, I guess. And his next question was, again, said with the same sort of like disdain, which was, oh, you like murder mysteries, eh?
Do you want to be in one, pal?
Investigators say they didn't think a guitar should fit all the way up a man's ass.
Play it now, motherfucker.
God almighty. But yeah, so I just ended the conversation, kept going, because I thought I could ask him what he's reading, but I guarantee you the answer is I'm between books right now.
Like houses and girlfriends.
Yeah, exactly, and jobs. But it occurred to me, this is not my first experience with this, where other guys who seem to start their conversations like they're looking to get into a fight on Reddit. And I'm going to say this, dudes, if you're saying to yourself, man, I'm lonely, you know, I understand people talk about the male loneliness epidemic. I'm a really lonely guy. No one wants to talk to me. Ask yourself.
Women cover their drinks near me.
Yeah, exactly. Ask yourself, am I an asshole? Because the answer is maybe. Maybe. I don't know what it is. We have trained guys, and maybe women do this too. I don't talk to enough strange women to get a read on this. But the dudes who come up to me who want to have a conversation, invariably, it starts as this like weirdly antagonistic opening. And then when I get annoyed because it's an annoying way to speak to someone, they act all hurt. Like, well, what's your problem? My problem is that you suck as a person. And I think they should send you back to the factory to take your batteries out. Like, I think that's the problem. So dudes, yeah, we love you. But if you're saying to yourself, man, I'm really lonely. Why don't people want to talk to me? No one wants to talk to me on the bus. No one wants to. It's probably because you're a creeper and asshole. I saw a dude on the bus, on the metro in Montreal once. I saw a woman, she was sitting down reading a book, had her headphones in. This dude sat across from her, and he like put a piece of paper between her and the book because her inability to see him was a mistake and not an intentional choice.
What a fucking creep.
Yeah, he got chased off pretty fast. But anyways, so that was, it was a yin and yang. Had a great time in Victoria. And,
is that why you always carry a guitar with you?
In case I need to feed it to anybody, yeah.
Rescuing damsels on the bus from dickheads.
Yeah, songs in the key of go fuck yourself.
Always reminds me, like I've told you that story about when I went to see, when we went to meet Ray Park many years ago in Manchester.
Oh, yeah.
And that girl came to sit with us, she said, because we seem to be the only... She said, well, you know, it's full of weirdos, but you seem to be there seems to be the respectful weirdo side. Right. And this guy, this horrible fucking Star Wars freak came over to, you know, kind of shits themselves usually when they see a woman. And she said, talk to me again. I'm going to shove that lightsaber up your ass, dickhead. Brilliant. Well done, love. Well done.
Hats off to you.
He did go. He didn't want to know what that feeling was. Though he probably back home thinks about that quite a lot with his friends. I know those types.
Fetish unlocked.
Yes. You be Yoda, I'll be Luke.
Oh no. Oh no. Let's just get right to the
now
listener.
I am your father.
It's time for listener mail.
Our courteous and efficient staff is on call 24 hours a day to serve all your supernatural elimination needs.
We're ready to believe you.
All right, so first up, we have a letter from Beth. Beth says, your podcast is the funniest and ironically the saddest podcast online today. You caught my attention because I Googled ghost stories and your podcast was top of the list. The algorithm must love you. That's awesome. That's very surprising, but that's great. I wanted a show that focuses mainly on spooky stories, not gory pasta or a bunch of ET sightings, and your show most fit what I was looking for. Brennan and Paul, you guys work incredibly hard, research impeccably, and deliver stories in your gorgeous voices without judgment. I have often been moved to tears or laughter listening to your podcast. Never think for a moment that what you're doing doesn't matter. You are touching people in ways you can never know. No dirty jokes retouching here, Brennan. I realize you have some trouble accepting compliments, so often cover awkwardness with humor. I'm working on it, Beth. I'm working on it, but thank you. Finally, encountering a community that doesn't treat me and others like me as an insane freak is a gift beyond measure. Therefore, while the $20 level is all I can afford, I wish it could be 10 times that. Thank you for your wit, bravery, and kindness. It's been a joy being a fly on your wall. Poetic, I know. Much love, Beth. And Beth, honestly, that email is reward enough. That's so lovely. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I say every now and again, Paul, we actually, no, more than every now and again, we get these lovely messages from people, and I'm always humbled to hear such kind words.
It's, yes, it's deeply humbling and makes me feel all fuzzy inside.
And I got to say, it is tough sometimes for me not to just like make a fart noise whenever someone says something nice. But I have decided that I'm going to work on that because no one likes that. It gets weird after a while.
You should try and displace that by trying to just do the bagpuss yawn and stretch instead.
I can only hope that you can provide me an example of this. Okay, that started as adorable and then went to I need an adult. I was like, that's nice. Oh, call Neighborhood Watch.
Yeah, you come round, they'll all be frozen. Bagpuss is clever.
Oh, I see. Okay, it's a pokeroo situation where they're never in they're never in the same place at the same time.
They never move when you're there. They only come alive when you're not.
Oh, so Bagpuss is a Toy Story situation.
Yeah, they're all toys living in a shop.
Oh, fascinating. So Pixar just ripped off Bagpuss.
Well, they tend to rip a lot of things off. Inside Out essentially was a British cartoon strip here in the 70s and 80s in a comic called Whizzer and Chips, which basically is essentially the exact same thing where your emotions are driving a person, and so they look through your eyes on their control deck and all that. It's exactly the fucking same story.
No kidding.
No. I can't remember what the British cartoon strip's called. It might not even have been Whizzer and Chips, but I think it was. So yeah, the numbskulls, I think they were. And it's basically that. It's your emotions inside a person, and that's exactly what Inside Out are.
This is why their movies have done so poorly recently. It's because they've run out of shit to rip off.
They need to do Banana Man.
I think Bonnie Blue worked with him.
No, stop it.
All right, we're just gonna move on. I'm gonna read one more comment.
God.
One more comment here from Spotify. This is from Tony Evans. Tony says, I interviewed Brad Roberts from Crash Test Dummies. He was a really nice guy. And let's not forget the Tragically Hip. And of course, this is on our Manitoba episode. And thank you, Tony, as ever. And I'm so happy to hear that Brad from Crash Test was a cool guy. I didn't mention the Hip because the Hip are from Ontario, not from Manitoba. But I am really pissed, Paul, that I forgot to mention the punk band Propagandhi. I completely forgot to fucking mention Propagandhi, and I'm so annoyed because they're a really great band from Manitoba, and somehow the Guess Who are great and BTO are fine, but they're not. They're not Propagandhi. I fumbled that ball.
That's okay. It's all on you.
I love that they were on Fat Wreck Chords for a long time, or at least a while, Propagandhi. And then I think they started G7, which is their own label. And I think that's where they released Potemkin City Limits, which was their next record. And they've got a song called Rock for Sustainable Capitalism, which is A, a banger song, and B, just absolutely shits all over their old label. And I just admire the Stones.
Joe Strummer would be proud.
The lyrics go, I fucking love that One Rock video where that fucking fat-ass Mohawk millionaire prances around by far the worst sausage party on earth, where by merest chance he's caught on film shaking hands with an incredibly diverse selection of patriotic skins. I like the message it sends, you fucking goof. With a rebel yell, do exactly what you're told. 1 million douchebags can't be wrong. Anyways, it goes from there. It's brilliant, brilliant song. Check out Rock for Sustainable Capitalism, folks.
Our next missive is from Alison, and Alison writes, Hey, Ghost Senors. I was just listening to your Ontario episode, playing a little catch-up, and the part about music on the edge of consciousness really caught my attention. Ever since I was a child, I hear music when I'm falling asleep, but only once when I hit a certain point of drowsiness. The music actually grows louder and louder as I get closer to sleep, as though someone is slowly turning up a volume knob as I drift off, even to the point where it's blaringly loud just at the tipping point. The reason I know this is because in those instances when you jerk yourself awake right before you're sound asleep, and I assume that that's a common occasional experience, I awake with the impression of having this music absolutely blasting my eardrums. And the wake-up is a sudden cutout, a yank of the power cord from the wall. When this happens, I can also remember the name of the song, and it's been so many different things. A few of them I've voice recorded before they slipped away, but often it's just a shadow, because these songs are always an entire orchestral or large band performance, many-parted and really beautiful. I can usually only hum a little tune that reminds me of it. A lot of them, when they're not an orchestra, remind me of the band Mum, if you've ever heard of them. Anyways, I like the idea that there's something on the other side of the veil that we can access when we're on the edge. It feels beautiful and hopeful to me. I like hearing that it can happen to others too. Keep dreaming your soundtracks. Peace, from Alison. Mum with a... Is that an umlaut on it? On the U?
I don't think it was an umlaut. I think it was just an accent. Yeah, it's some kind of accenty thing. I don't think it's an umlaut.
Ah, they're Icelandic.
Ah, okay.
Indietronica. I've never heard of them. I shall check them out later, because they're always... Scandinavians are crazy musically, so that could be a variety of things.
Oh, yeah. And I was and remain a huge fan of Sigur Rós. So I anything Icelandic, yes. I'm willing to take a run at. I tell you, man, I still think that Sigur Rós is, I think it's Agetis Byrjun and their Untitled album, and then the one after that, I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head, but I think those are the three of the best albums anyone's ever put out, especially the third one that's got Hoppipol on it. Again, I can't remember the name of the album off the top of my head for some reason. But I've still got the CD. It came in I got like a limited edition storybook cover for it. Just love it. I just fucking love that record. And the Untitled album still makes me cry.
Powerful stuff, their music.
Oh, yeah. I will say I saw them live, and it was a little bit of a disappointment. I feel like seeing them in the rain at an outdoor show isn't really the venue for that.
Not like Father Abraham and the Smurfs.
Oh, folks, Paul showed me this beforehand. You got to check out Father Abraham and the Smurfs, because if I have to suffer, so do you.
Yes, 1978 was a strange year.
It really, really was. But yeah, just on the subject of music, I do wonder, is it that we are connecting to something? Because like when you think about what Alison is describing there, like if you're not a composer, if you're not a musician, that means your brain, if this is just entirely generated within us, that means your brain is capable of making these symphonies, essentially. It's either the brain is a marvel, which I guess it is anyways, or, like she suggests, you're kind of connecting to something over on the other side.
Who knows? I mean, it's powerful music. I'm quite partial to classical music. My grandfather loved it, so I was quite well versed with it as a child, and obviously at that age you don't really appreciate it, but you know, I'm a big fan of Rachmaninoff, Tchaikovsky, Holst, Beethoven.
Lately
Verdi.
I've been getting into stoner doom metal again.
Oh, well, good for you.
You know, Sleep and Stonehelm, very much like Rachmaninoff.
Well, yes, it's, I mean, Holst's Planet Suite is one of the most powerful pieces of classical music you could ever wish to listen to. It's incredible. That's
how I feel about Acid Mammoth's Jack the Riffer.
Get some Gaye Bykers on acid in your ears, mate. No, they were a real band.
Gay Acid Bykers?
No, Gaye Bykers on acid.
Gaye Bykers on acid. So that was a real band.
They had a minor hit called Get Up, which is basically 5 minutes of madness.
Well, obviously I'm going to listen to that right now.
Go for it. And it's Gay with an E.
I'm glad you told me, because I was about to get some results from Google that I'm not too sure about. Get on up to get down.
That's it.
I kind of love this, Paul. I got to tell you.
It's grand.
That's fantastic. I am a big... okay. I am now a committed fan of Gay with an E, Bykers on Acid. You get some music recommendations today on Ghostery, guys. Yes,
one of the leading lights of the late 80s Grebo rock scene.
The what rock scene?
Grebo rock scene.
What's Grebo?
So basically it's a clash between goth and rock. So they weren't really rockers and they weren't really goth. They were in between, and therefore they became known as Grebos.
Wow. Okay. Well, again, we're learning stuff on this episode of Talk Spooky to Me.
Yeah. So they weren't into stuff like your classic rock stuff, and they weren't into, I don't know, Fields of Nephilim, who you've probably never heard of either. One of the offshoots from Sisters of Mercy. Anyway, I digress. So yeah, there was one of those. As with any scene, you have trenches and genres inside genres, and on that particular, they kind of pulled bits from both sides to create something quite different in the middle. I suppose Pop Will Eat Itself were part of that until they discovered ecstasy, and then they just turned into a mentally brilliant dance punk band. And obviously most people will be aware of the lead singer, who is now one of the best composers in movie soundtrack land, which is Clint Mansell.
Oh, okay.
He was the lead singer of Pop Will Eat Itself.
All right, so this one comes from Paxthelia on Spotify. Paxthelia asks, apropos of nothing, I just keep forgetting to ask when I have 2 seconds to rub together, wondering if either of you have read anything by Phil Rickman. A lot of his horror is based on the folklore of the English-Welsh border. I would be interested in your take. Also, just about finished Chapelwaite, which is based on Stephen King's short story Jerusalem's Lot. Thoughts? As always, I love your show, I love both your voices, I love your wit, and look forward to each episode. Thank you. So, I am not familiar with Phil Rickman.
I am.
Okay.
He was a bit of a cult author who dealt with sort of supernatural fantasy storylines based, as we've been advised there, about the English-Welsh border. He sadly passed away last year.
Oh, okay.
He's basically like the best-selling author you've probably never heard of. He's one of them.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I've only read a couple of them, and not for quite a while. I think I read a couple of, I don't know, might have been late 90s, early noughties, somewhere around there, because he was at it quite a while. But yes. Yeah,
according to, I'm looking at Wikipedia here, it says his first novel was 91 with Candle Night.
Yep.
And then his final was, looks like one of the Merrily Watkins books, which is Fever of the World.
Very good. It weaves a lot of reality into fantastical stories. So it gives, I suppose, things like that give you a grounding if you actually know the location. It kind of gives it a bit more power. So it was very good. If you've never read him, I recommend him if you're into that kind of thing. He's probably the best author you've never discovered yet.
Wikipedia says, Rickman researched the folklore, region, and supernatural themes of his books, saying, if I can't believe it, it doesn't go in. He also voiced his unhappiness over his earlier critics, which labeled him a horror writer. He said he felt that the books did not fit neatly within that genre. Fascinating. Okay. Also, you told me about I think it was a James Herbert book about a plane crash survivor.
Yeah, Survivor.
I think that was made into a movie, and I think I've seen that movie.
Robert Powell's in it.
Yeah, I'm going to look that up real quick, because I was editing the show, and I thought, that's ringing a bell. Okay, no, it is absolutely not the movie I was thinking of.
Well, it's of its time. Strangely, it's one of those weird films that you'd think it was British, but it's actually Australian.
I was thinking of Soul Survivor, the tagline of which is, it wants her, it's waiting, it won't be long now. After inexplicably surviving a plane crash, TV station worker Denise tries to get on with her life. After she learns that she was actually supposed to die in the crash, the unseen specter of death starts sending its minions, people that have recently died, to collect her. So it looks like everyone took a kick at that particular can. I might have to do that for Fear Daily, just to say I did.
Absolutely, yeah. It was during his incredibly prolific James Herbert's crazy period. Just balmy.
So I'm going to have to check out some Phil Rickman. Thank you, Paxthelia.
Also, that film is Joseph Cotton's last film.
Oh, no shit. I know him from, I'm thinking, Citizen Kane?
Correct. Sabrina Fair. He did a lot with, I think he did 3 films. I think he's in The Magnificent Ambersons as well, with Wells.
Possibly. I've read The Magnificent Ambersons book. I've never seen the film.
Well, yes. There is the film, and there is the film that Wells made. They are not the same thing.
Yeah, I've heard that. It's like... Actually, funny enough, I sent you the tweet or the screen cap that we were followed by Larry Charles on Instagram, who directed Borat and a bunch of other stuff. And the reason we came up on each other's radar is apparently in 2016 he directed a film called Army of One with Nicolas Cage, where he plays a guy who claims that God told him to go to Pakistan and capture Osama bin Laden. And the studio took it away from him, cut the shit out of it, because it was a Weinstein's, because they're notorious for doing that. They cut the shit out of it, and they released it, and it was a bomb. It was badly reviewed. So I guess he legally, Larry Charles, has recently gotten the rights to show the film, his cut, as long as he never makes money from it. And so he's uploaded a DVD version of the film to YouTube. So I started watching it. I haven't finished it yet, but it is 2 hours and 40 minutes long, and it's nuts. It's fucking nuts. Nicolas Cage is just acting his tiny heart out. I will say it's fun. It's very unusual. Again, if you've seen The Dictator or Borat or Bruno, you kind of know what to expect. The only downside is Russell Brand is in it playing God, which is not. Yeah, exactly.
Never heard of him.
Yeah, I wish. But yeah, that's another movie that was cut as you say, with Magnificent Ambersons. It was taken away from the original creator. Was Magnificent Ambersons ever released in a finished version?
I do not believe so.
Okay, yeah. So at the very least, we have the full army of one. I guess that's better than nothing. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, we got way off fucking topic there. We're going to, Paul and I are going to figure out exactly what it was we were talking about in the first place. And while we do that, we're going to play some ads. We'll be right back.
Our next message is from Angela McLaughlin, 4918 from YouTube. Cincinnati is awesome as is Dayton. Liberal, nice, haunted as fuck. I live in Middletown. I'm offended. Dude, come to our haunted elementary school in Posttown. The owner opens it up to locals without the basement during bad storms, and he's a good egg. I was the head researcher case manager of OPS, seriously Midwestern name, the Ohio Paranormal Exploration Society. I know it's cringe, but we helped a lot of folks for free, and I'm in envy, so I found 95% was hayback or electrical issues. One family got to move apartments because the owners had placed a pad-mounted transformer too close to the unit, and their little boy was rating himself at night due to the buzzing sounds and the major EMF. But it was the 5% that kept me looking. I've audio of a sassy spook answering my "How old are you?" with "I'm 21, how old are you?" By the way, I'm not really offended. I freaking love Boston. We were the only group, Coley Island, Cincinnati, that let investigate it while it was closed. It was hilarious because a Civil War reenactment group was camping by the river with bonfires that night and songs in the distance, and the only spirits we saw that night were in bottles and offered kindly.
Well, I'm glad we didn't actually offend you, Angela. That's good.
We'll try harder.
Yeah, we'll be back. We can do this. No, whenever we talk shit about a place, as a rule, we're just goofing. I've heard Cincinnati's great. When I came back from the Goblin Market last year, I considered going to Cincinnati because I think it was a few days left before you and I had to record the show, and that's otherwise I have no other reason to come back home at any given time. So I was considering driving from Logansport up to Cincinnati, but I just couldn't quite justify the cost. But one of these days I hope to get there because, yeah, I've heard really cool things. There used to be a bar there that was like in the back of a video store. It was kind of styled after a speakeasy. They would give you, you would go to the door, they would give you like a clue, and you had to go find the movie that corresponded to the clue to get in, which I am just dorky enough to find appealing. But apparently it's closed, so I guess there's not that many dorks out there. Greg Lewis 7009 on YouTube comments on our episode of Hometown Ghost Stories. He says, really enjoyed this. 3 great podcasts together. Ghost Story Guys, Hometown Ghost Stories, and Mysteries and Monsters. Great stuff.
Cheer up, Greg. You crazy guy.
We had a good time talking to those guys.
Next up is from Dot on YouTube, who says, to aid the algorithm, Paul speaks about the struggles of gays during the last half of last century. He knows from a previous story of mine, which I've shared here before, that from 2008 to 2015, I volunteered in an AIDS HIV hospice in San Francisco. I also sang in the Castro on stage a few times a month for years, raising money to find cures, vaccines, etc. for AIDS and cancer. Many a paranormal experience occurred within the walls of the Maytree Hospice. Many a night after singing my guts out as Freddie Mercury and as performers who sang at Woodstock, I'd have a young man or woman come talk to me backstage. Once in a while they'd make the long drive from San Francisco to Birmingham with me as we sat in my driveway chain-smoking as he or she cried about being gay or lesbian and the ousting from family members. I'm straight, but I love to sing, and I love Freddie Mercury, which brought me to my volunteer work, private voice lessons and work within the community in the Castro. I've seen it all. I've held dying men in my arms. I remember Paul just like you do. God put me in the right place at the right time to comfort, nurture, help others, while saving my own life from suicide. Yes, it was the singing lessons or suicide, and Freddie Mercury showed up on my TV in the Roach Motel the night before I planned to do, is what saved my life. And I live long enough to have a second life and comfort others at the end of theirs. The youths who felt bold enough to approach me backstage did so because I see a woman in her 40s rocking it and not giving a shit what anyone else thinks, but being genuinely happy. You made me feel like I can be my freak too. Yes, everyone gay and straight, let your freak flags fly. Brennan, grief can strike you anywhere, and any long time after our beloved has passed, as keenly as ever before. There are places I remember with my parents that I know that if I went to again I'd be a basket case. Sharing popcorn whilst watching Disneyland fireworks, skiing in Tahoe, the entire Californian coast for that matter. I remember it too, Brennan, that you felt great sadness and grief and dread whilst driving through Middle America when your mum had passed. You felt it keenly and pulled over. She hadn't passed, thank God, but your certainty of it and your overwhelming agony was no less than what it had been if it was real. What Queen Elizabeth II once said was true. Grief is the price one pays for loving someone, and isn't it that the truth? And in regards to John Lennon's assassination, I'm old enough to remember that day. I was 12 and a Beatles fan. I found out in homeroom, which was at first class in junior high, that Lennon had been shot by a psycho. Our voice teacher was visibly shaken as he gave us the news. Class was cancelled and we all walked down to get some Baskin & Robbins ice cream in Burlingame. Ice creams in hand, we and our teacher just spent the morning lying on a grassy park in complete quiet. 30 years later, whilst out for a walk, I went back to my homeroom and slid a red rose through the door handles, and when friends are in New York, I asked them to leave a rose on the Strawberry Fields inlay in Central Park.
Dot, thank you so much. And I'm sure your name is not actually Dot. That's just what the closest the YouTube thing came up as. But I do remember your emails while working in hospice. They were very, very beautiful, as was this message. And we deeply appreciate you taking the time to comment and share this with us.
Powerful and honest, and thank you.
Next up, we have a message from Amy M. on YouTube. Amy says, "We used to have footsteps going up and down the stairs in our house when I was a kid, usually around dusk. It was in Sangley Point, Philippines, in a row house in the U.S. Naval Base there. You could tell it was something small because it went one step at a time. Some people said it was the ghost of a child, but I think it was a duende, one of the little people." What's interesting about that, Paul, is I was reading something the other day, and they were talking about rats. It was one of these, again, skeptical things. They said, well, rats are the explanation for the sounds of footsteps because they're banging their backs on the bottom of floorboards. And they just happen to do it in a style that sounds like footsteps.
Have you ever seen the inside of a staircase?
It's rats.
So are these rats able to jump 10 foot up in the air then?
They're very strong rats.
I love it when somebody gives an explanation of something where they clearly don't understand how the inside of a staircase looks like.
Agreed.
Do you think there's like another staircase in the staircase that the rats use?
But it's just slightly below ours so they can bang their backs on stuff?
I saw something the other day. I was watching a show that I've rediscovered where a police officer caught footage of a big hairy thing running across the road, and one famous skeptic who's no longer with us said, well, it's clearly a bear running on two legs because we know a bear has done this, and therefore this is clearly a bear, which it clearly wasn't. And then another policeman had decided to take it on himself to prove it wasn't Bigfoot and said, oh yeah, I found all these cans and stuff, and clearly there'd been a party. He had no evidence to back that up at all. He didn't have any pictures of it, he didn't have any evidence, he just said it, and therefore, in his opinion, that case closed. You're going to tell me something? I need the proof, buddy. I don't give a shit.
I can't tell you the number of people I've seen repeating that canard about how Bigfoot sightings all correspond to black bear populations, and therefore that's what they're talking about. It is everywhere. That report just got sucked up into the collective unconscious. Yeah, it is, absolutely. But it's Bigfoot, it's bears. It was real. I mean, as far as like cutting off people's interest, a lot of people's interest in that topic, it was very effective.
I know one particular sighting in that one because they covered 500. One because they just basically removed all the evidence from each sighting and just said Bigfoot sighting, right? So every other piece of evidence along with that, whatever that witness saw that made them think it wasn't a bear, they removed. And so therefore, they could say, oh, well, that's a bear. One of those particular sightings, they saw two of the creatures together, stood up, facing them from 20 feet away. And because they removed all that, they just went, yeah, that's a bear. I mean, it's bollocks. It's an embarrassment in the world of science, right? That's not what science should be doing, is falsifying data to give a result that it wants. Because shit like that fuels conspiracy theories. Because that's bad science.
I agree completely. Yeah. That's it. I mean, aside from all the other problems with our various world governments right now, that's right, crazy conspiracy people. I said every government they've gotten so paternalistic. They think, well, we'll just lie about whatever it is. It's just easier to lie. And they've gotten worse at lying. Like, these governments are progressively stupider. And so now people can easily find out this is bullshit. And they go, oh, well, if they're lying about this, they must be lying about lots of other stuff. And I mean, it's possible, but also I think sometimes people will tell a lie to just because they think it's more expedient. But the problem is that fucks everything else you say.
Yeah, it's like somebody's claimed that the Tic Tac this week is obviously Lockheed Martin. They've got no evidence for that. It's just somebody's told them.
Yeah, obviously. It's like, well, like the rat thing. It's this. Says fucking who?
It's black mold spores.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Well, ignore the fact that hallucination is one of the final symptoms of that. And most of the time when you start seeing things, you're too ill to get out of bed, not fucking living a normal life, you lying shitheads.
Oh, yeah. Well, there was a volunteer organization Nick used to work with. They got kicked out of their headquarters because black mold was found in there.
Yeah.
And it had to be remediated. Not a single one of them ever hallucinated an alien or a ghost.
No, exactly. It's just one of these bullshit explanations because it's in reality, and they hope that when normal people look at it, they just go, oh, well, that explains it. Well, it doesn't. It only explains it if you don't understand the explanation's not right. Critical thinking for everyone on all sides of the divide, please.
And like I said, if you think you're going to lie and tell a greater truth or some shit, don't do it.
Don't come to me with your falsified scientific data and expect me to swallow it, shitheads.
I was listening to Where Did the Road Go? They were talking about James Randi falsifying his refutation of Rupert Sheldrake's pet experiments.
That wasn't Randy.
Oh, that wasn't Randy.
It was Dr. Richard Wiseman.
Oh, okay. My mistake. Or their mistake, I guess. I just repeated.
Another professional skeptic who was one of those awfully arrogant ones.
Right.
Yeah. Sheldrake did this. Do you know about this experiment, by the way?
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
That he sort of, his thesis was, or his conclusion was that pets have a sense
of time.
Of time. But not only of time, but seem to have a connection that allows them to sort of to understand where you are to some degree or when you're going to be coming home.
Yes.
And it seemed to defy, because there are some theories that it was like, well, it's just the amount of scent in the house. They know when it goes down that you're going to be coming home, but people would come home. They had them come back at random times. And there was, sufficient evidence to prove that the pets seemed to have some other sense they were operating with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wiseman tampered with the data and made it so it would discredit that. And that was proven, and he still stands by it. He's an absolute shithead.
As so many of them are.
If you're going to replicate an experiment, you don't change it. You replicate the experiment. That's why it's called replication. It's not adaptation, it's replication. So you repeat it. You don't fucking alter it, because then it's not the same experiment. And once again, it was tailored so it would give the result that said that didn't happen. And I think anybody that owns a dog especially will know, like Theo knows at 5 o'clock if I'm working at home, he knows, he comes in here because he knows I've finished.
Oh, that's amazing.
Whether I'm doing admin or I'm not, whether I'm speaking or not, whatever, he knows at 5 o'clock, he knows I've finished work. And he comes in because then he knows the next thing that will happen is we will go for a walk.
Right.
But he does that. I mean, other times of the day, he's got no chuffing clue what's happening half the time. You know, too busy like snoring and farting and whatever, or like being frightened of a plant pot like the other day.
Now I feel judged.
He wouldn't walk past a new planter I'd bought that's like a giant strawberry. He wouldn't have that. No. I know I had to walk past it so he'd follow. But yeah, 5 o'clock he knows when it is. And that's what Sheldrake's experiment was about. And I think anybody that owns a dog knows that that's that. But it's so frustrating because there are shams and hoaxes out there that need to be dealt with properly. But if you're lying about things to get results you want, you're as bad as a hoaxer.
Yeah, 100%.
You've just got a doctorate. There's no difference. You're a charlatan.
Well, and this goes to what I'm talking about, where you think that it's moral if I lie, because I am righteous, and that's such an ego death, or that's such an ego trap. That's what fucked us with masks during the pandemic. The introduction of the pandemic. I got folks who work in hospitals. I know lots of folks who work in hospitals. People were told, masks, they don't really, they're not going to help. So don't steal them, because people were fucking stealing them by the handful from hospitals. And what happened is it got turned into, now masks work. Well, fuck. I mean, you're right, but not for the reasons you think. Like, yes, they lied. They've said, the masks don't help. It's more complicated than that. It was just easier for them to say that. And again, it fucked us.
I mean, if you want to criticise Randy, go on the fact that he lived with a convicted fraudster who he defended for years.
I don't know that story.
His partner stole his identity. He was living in America as an illegal alien. He was not the man he claimed to be. He stole a guy from New York's social security number.
Okay.
People seem to forget that, and Randy defended him for fucking years.
It's okay when I do it. The James Randi story.
Well, yeah, exactly. And here's a guy that was begging for donations at the end of his life because he'd lost that many court cases for libel.
Really?
Yeah, shithead.
I didn't know that. I knew he was a shithead. I didn't know that part about the libel.
Everybody focuses on the fact that Uri Geller tried to sue him several times and lost. Lots of other people sued him and won.
Interesting.
But you don't want to hear about that because that proves he's a bullshitter.
Yeah, and I've said before, there's a number of skeptical podcasts I listen to, or used to at least, that they really thought they still refer to him almost reverentially in a weird way. He's their god.
Ironic that atheists would have someone that they would put on a pedestal and worship, isn't it? It's almost like a belief system, isn't it?
I tell you, do not have heroes. Do not have heroes. No gods, no masters.
Precisely. Only old gods.
Only old gods. All right, so we are going to wrap it up here. We have one more message, and then we have a sound file I'm going to play, and I will explain that part in a second. So our last message comes from David on our Facebook group, and of course, we would love if you would join our Facebook group. We're on Facebook as The Ghost Story Guys, finally made a group. And we've recently made that group fully private, so you can share your stories without fear of anyone else outside of the group seeing them and being shitty about them. We've had a few people ask if we could do that, and thankfully one of our admins, Mark, was able to help us out with that.
Yes, we were getting spammed by the ghost of Sylvia Brown.
The long-distance charges from hell must be murder.
Who knew they had phones there? Not Sylvia, because she never got fucking anything right.
All right, so David says, feedback. After the 1 to present binge, Bren could be a stand-up comedian, and Paul, or Paul Kenobi, as I think of him, has the best laugh ever. You killed him, David.
Oh, man. Don't do that after viral infections.
He's going to be a Force ghost now. Paul, when I was younger, I wanted to be a stand-up comedian. When I was in high school, I thought that was something I wanted. And I tell you, after learning about the stand-up world, I'm sure glad I didn't do that because it would have eaten me alive.
Yes, I'm very glad I've met some very talented people in the stand-up comedy world. I could never do what they do. I have noticed, though, when the last couple of comedy gigs I've gone, I mean, this is the great thing. When you see a professional, like somebody at the top of their game,
yeah,
they look peerless. But when you're up close, you can see them. Even the best ones shake like leaves. It's amazing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's brilliant. I mean, it's not brilliant that they're, shitting themselves. That's not what I mean. But it's brilliant because it shows that even somebody that good still thinks, am I good enough? And I think a lot of us could take heart from that. You know?
Yeah, no, I agree with that 100%.
So yeah, I'm much better to watch my far more talented comedy friends that I've now got to know over the years do a far better job than I could. And, I love seeing, I've seen a couple of my favourites this year, both women, Rachel Fairburn, who's amazing in everything she does, and Lucy Beaumont, who's based in Sheffield now and tells weird stories about growing up in Hull. Like she said, why does nobody talk about gangrene or spontaneous human combustion anymore? Growing up in Hull, that's all we talked about. And I believe that. I've been to Hull.
In Hull, that's all you had to look forward to.
If you were lucky, you got gangrene, because then you could get out.
So yes, thank you, David. Very, very much appreciated. And our final message comes from Potato Thief on Patreon.
Whose potatoes is he stealing?
The investigation is ongoing. But no, Potato Thief is a listener. Both you and I have had the pleasure of meeting him at Parameet.
Yes.
And he has sent us an audio clip. His contention is that in this clip, there is a whistling sound that was not there when they had the conversation. Mm-hmm. So we're going to play. I've got two versions of the sound. I've got one which is the original that he sent, and then I've got one where I've removed the noise. So we're going to play both. And then Paul and I are I'm going to pick Paul's brain and see what he thinks. Because I have a thought, but I want to see what Paul thinks. So here's the original.
Of a man screaming his name. He would see figures. He would see dark shadows in corners and like black mists, whereas I never like saw anything. I was more like hearing things and feeling things, but most of the attention was directed at him.
And now without the noise.
Of a man screaming his name. He would see figures. He would see dark shadows in corners and like black mists, whereas I never like saw anything. I was more like hearing things and feeling things, but most of the attention was directed at him.
Firstly, you need to know, what time was this conversation recorded?
That's a good question, and I don't think I have that information.
No, it wasn't a test. I'm just... Because straight away, if this is a conversation in the evening, that reduces the chances of it being a bird, because, as most people know, most birds are asleep at night, other than your apex predators, usually like your owls and stuff. So it would be interesting. I mean, to be fair, it doesn't sound like a bird to me. It sounds like a man whistling.
Well, I mean, that's what I think it sounds like too. But I was just trying to think, like, what could sort of outside the box.
I don't disagree with that. I think that's a very logical explanation to it. So I think we would need the context of where and when to understand it. I mean, I'm not going to suggest that I'm some great expert in birdsong, but I do spend a lot of time outside, and I love to sit on an evening, listen to the birds. I've got a birdsong app. That particular whistling does not resonate with me. However, I do not know the bird calls of every bird that lives in Britain.
I have to say, I am surprised by this.
I'm not a massive ornithology expert, I have to say, but I know enough. I know what a blackbird sounds like. I know what a robin sounds like. Owls, thrushes, tits, ravens, magpies. You get used to them when you're out a lot, especially living where we live. Got massive parks and trees everywhere, so there's bloody birds all over the place here. So I'd like a bit more context in regards to that. However, I can clearly hear a whistling, especially at the beginning.
Yes. Yeah. The actual full clip that Potato Thief sent is about 7.5 minutes long. I thought that it's only really in that one part, so I thought we don't really need the rest of this.
Yeah. I mean, what I would say is that there is a thing about whistling is it's not very common at all to hear anybody whistle these days, in general.
That is very true.
Whereas when I was a kid growing up, lots of people whistled. People who just go... I suppose it's one of those things that the Walkman killed.
More like the Wokeman.
Sony.
Can't whistle anymore because of woke.
Because I think I can clearly remember a period in my life where people would whistle, and then people had Walkmans.
Yeah.
And now when I hear somebody whistle, the first thing that runs through my head is that person must be a psychopath. Because I just don't understand why you'd whistle these days. It's very strange. And, I don't know. There's something creepy about whistling as well, I think, this day and age. Which is a strange thing to say, because I think I would imagine it was very common 60, 70 years ago,
I would say for the majority of human history up until the invention of the Walkman, that was a pretty normal thing.
Yeah, ask yourself the last time you heard somebody whistle.
Yeah, I honestly can't think of it.
Yeah, the last time I thought, yeah, I'm going to keep my eye on that person. I'm going to remember their face, because if I see something on the news from the police saying, have you seen this man? I can say, yes, I have seen the whistling man.
Oh, if I knew the lyrics to The Whistler, this is when I would drop them. So, folks, if you have any idea, if you can think of, any thoughts as to what that sounds like to you, or if you've had whistling experiences, shoot us an email, ghoststoryguys@gmail.com. And I will also send a message to Potato Thief to see if we can get a little more context as to the recording time of those. He actually sent it in a while ago, and because I'm very organized and good at this, I put it in the show not right away at all. So I'll have to reach out to him and see what he has to say.
I wonder if it's possible to extract the whistle from the audio and then play it into a birdsong app.
Maybe. Yeah, entirely possible. Again, folks, if you want to do that, give it a try. Let us know what you come up with.
Yeah, I mean, anything's possible. You only have to look at what the lyrebird can do in Australia to think, well, it could be a bird. Yeah. It's not. I'm not saying it's not. I mean, it sounds like a man, but then a lyrebird can do a car alarm. So, it's a bag of shit what I'm saying, really, isn't it?
So it's either a lyrebird or it's that guy from Police Academy. It's one of the two things.
Sound effects, man.
Exactly. And yes, before you send us an email, we know that's Michael Winslow.
Yes, we do. And everybody's seen his version of Whole Lot of Love.
Exactly. All right, folks. As always, thank you so much for sending your messages. We deeply, deeply appreciate it. We love hearing from you. If you would like to send us a message to be read out here on Talk Spooky to Me, shoot it to ghoststoryguys@gmail.com. As you've figured out by listening to the show, we also pull from Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, all those places. We're on Instagram as The Ghost Story Guys. We are on Spotify. Well, that doesn't matter. We are on Facebook as The Ghost Story Guys. Finally made a group. And we are everywhere else fine podcasts live. Paul, where are you? Firmly ensconced in 2005, where we should all be.
I'm about to kill a cat. You can find Mysteries and Monsters across most social media platforms and podcast sites wherever you wish to download it from.
Fabulous. I'm largely the truth on Threads, Instagram, Blue Sky, and Letterboxd, and you can find my horror fiction show, Fear Daily, everywhere fine podcasts live. And of course, it would hardly be Talk Spooky without a song. This week, we are proud to present another track from our friends over at Punkerton Records. This one is from Stay the Course, out of Wichita, Kansas. This track just dropped on June 20th of this year. It is called Post-Traumatic. And if you like what you hear, search for Stay the Course on streaming platforms everywhere. Follow the link in the show notes, or head to punkertonrecords.bandcamp.com. Thanks, as always, for listening, folks. We love getting to spend this time with you. Don't forget to email, comment, and share the show with your friends. We're always looking for more friends of the cabin here at the Ghost Story Guys. We will be back next week with episode 220, but until then, we will leave you with Stay the Course and Post